Hello, everybody. You're listening to Let's Master English, and my name is Coach Shane. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for listening to Let's Master English, the podcast. This is already number 43. Awesome. Thank you for tuning in. In this week's podcast, we have so many great things. Of course, we've got a news story, some facts, 4 questions from you. We'll talk about our book club. This is the 3rd week of our monthly book. And we'll mention our sponsors. Our sponsors are Audible and, of course, DDM. So it's going to be a great show, hopefully not that long. Last week's show was almost an hour. So tell me, please be truthful. Is an hour too long? Is 30 minutes too long? What's a good length for the show? I tried to keep it at 40 minutes, but last week we went long. I hope it was okay. Okay, enough chit-chat. Let's begin. The kids of America want to slap Michelle Obama's hand away from their school lunches. The First Lady supports new federal laws that say if schools want extra funding, they must follow strict food guidelines. No snacks over 200 calories. No Snickers or Tic Tacs. No turkey sandwiches or pizza. No regular sodas. Must take fruit and veggies at lunch. As expected, the kids are not eating. This is one of the big subjects, the big topics, the hot potato in America these days. The school lunch program for children, elementary school, middle school, high school children. And Michelle Obama is very involved in this new program where children are basically forced to eat healthy food. If they want to eat, they must eat healthy food. And of course, the idea is good. Of course, we want our children to eat healthy food. But is it the government's responsibility? It's a very tricky and very tough controversy. Let me read the story again a little bit slower. The kids of America want to slap Michelle Obama's hand away from their school lunches. The First Lady supports new federal laws that say if schools want extra funding, they must follow strict food guidelines. No snacks over 200 calories. No Snickers or Tic Tacs. No turkey sandwiches or pizza. No regular sodas. Must take fruit and veggies at lunch. As expected, the kids are not eating. Okay, let's look at the first sentence again. The kids of America, children all around America, want to slap, S-L-A-P, Michelle Obama's hand away from their school lunches. So who's Michelle Obama? Well, that is President Barack Obama's wife. She's the First Lady. And she is very involved. She's very concerned with school lunches. She's worried that American children are getting too fat. They're eating bad foods. That's a good thing, and I completely agree with her. I think in America we have a problem with children eating unhealthy foods, and we should do something. But the sentence again, the kids of America want to slap. So to slap means to hit something with your fingers or the palm of your open hand. That's the idea. So what do they want to slap? The kids of America want to slap Michelle Obama's hand. Why? The kids of America want to slap Michelle Obama's hand away from their school lunches. So basically, when the kids go to school and they get their lunch at school, Michelle Obama's hand is in their lunch, taking away chocolate and adding potatoes, taking away pizza and adding soup. And the kids don't like that. They want the chocolate. They want the pizza. They want the hamburgers. And Michelle Obama says, "No, no, no. You must have vegetables and you must have healthy foods. No pizza." And the kids say, "No, get your hand away from my lunch." That's the first sentence. The second sentence. The First Lady supports new federal laws that say if schools want extra funding, they must follow strict food guidelines. So Michelle Obama, the First Lady. Yep, the First Lady is the wife of the president. Of course, if the president is a woman, then we could say the first man. Actually, we say the first gentleman. Sorry, not the first man. So I guess in Germany, the first man, what is Merkel's husband, and Brazil has a female president. I don't know her name, I'm sorry, but I guess he would be the first gentleman. Okay, so anyway, the First Lady supports. She is behind. She supports what? A new law. A new federal law. And actually, I guess it's a couple laws. New federal laws. So what are federal laws? Federal, federal laws, LAWS. Federal laws are laws that apply to all 50 U.S. states. So in America, we have state laws and we have federal laws. So state laws can be different in each state, but federal laws are the same in every one of the 50 U.S. states. So the First Lady supports new federal laws. And what do these federal laws say? What are these laws about? That say if schools want extra funding, if public schools want extra money, extra financial support, the schools, must follow strict food guidelines. If the schools want extra money, the schools must follow these very precise dietary rules. What children can eat, how much they can eat. No candies, no cakes. It must be whole grain and soups and whatever. Very, very careful, very, very strict. So if the school does not follow these strict food guidelines, these very clear, precise food rules, then the schools do not get extra money. And Michelle Obama, she thinks that is a good idea. Next sentence. What are some of these guidelines? Here it is. No snacks over 200 calories. So what's a snack? A snack is the food that you eat between breakfast and lunch, or between lunch and dinner. Your afternoon snack. Ice cream, a cookie, maybe a candy bar, something like that. Sometimes some popcorn and a Coca-Cola. That would be a snack. For me, my snacks are, I guess, cake. But no snacks over 200 calories. That's almost impossible. That means the snacks must be like vegetables or half an apple or something like that. No Twinkies, no cupcakes, no candy bars. Oh my God. No snacks over 200 calories. That's not cool for children. No Snickers. So once again, Snickers is a candy bar. It's a chocolate candy bar. It's a product name. Maybe you have Snickers in your country. Snickers. Just do a Google image search. No Tic Tacs. TICTACS. This is also the name of a candy. And it's actually like a breath mint. Once again, do a Google image search. Tic Tacs. TICTACS. It's 2 words. No Snickers or Tic Tacs at school. No turkey sandwiches or pizza. Schools cannot give children turkey sandwiches. Now come on, turkey sandwiches, that sounds healthy. No, there's actually too much salt in the turkey sandwiches. Isn't that crazy? No pizza. Yep, too much salt in pizza. So can you imagine how strict this diet is? Pizza, everybody enjoys pizza or a turkey sandwich. Well, most people do. In America, most Americans love pizza. 2, 3, 4 slices, turkey sandwich, no problem. That seems like okay food. Yeah, pizza, maybe that's kind of fast food. But a turkey sandwich, that sounds healthy. But no, according to the strict food guidelines, no turkey sandwiches can be served to children. No pizza can be served to children. No regular sodas. That's right, no regular sodas. No Coca-Cola, no Pepsi, no Mountain Dew. That sounds good, right? That sounds good. But instead, they're giving children diet sodas. And children are buying the diet sodas. Oh my goodness. Also, children must take fruit and veggies at lunch. So when the children get their lunch, they must accept the fruit and vegetables. Now, I think many children will eat the fruit, but let's be honest. Many children do not like veggies. Now, if your child or if you are a child and you like vegetables, that's great. Keep going. But me, when I was young, the last thing I wanted to eat were carrots and peas and spinach. Blech, that's terrible. Don't make me eat that stuff. But these children must take the fruit and the veggies, and do they eat it? No. They throw it away. It's a waste. It really is a waste. So, that sentence again, these are the strict food guidelines. Listen carefully. No snacks over 200 calories. No Snickers or Tic Tacs. No turkey sandwiches or pizza. No regular sodas. Must take fruit and veggies at lunch. The last sentence. As expected, the kids are not eating. As expected. Just like you might assume. Just like you might think. Just like you might guess. The children, the kids, are not eating these government-supported foods. It's pretty sad. Now, when I was in school, the school lunch was good. I enjoyed it. I didn't eat everything, especially the vegetables. But I always ate the cake, and I always ate the meat, and usually the potatoes. Yeah, I'm a typical American boy from the Midwest, meat and potatoes. But the desserts, that was the fun stuff. That's what gave the meal excitement. And many children think that, if they come from an economically safe family, they eat their meal, and at the end of the meal, they get dessert. They get a piece of cake or some pie or a cookie or something like that. Not no more in many, many, many American public schools. The children are very upset. The idea is great, making our children or trying to have our children eat healthy foods. That's so important. I totally agree. But once again, when I was in school, we had a soda machine. And after school, they sold snacks, potato chips and cakes and all of those things. We had to use our own money. But to be honest, I don't think I ever bought it. Maybe once a month I would buy something. I just wouldn't spend my money on the snacks. And I think the reason was my mom and dad. My mom and dad told me, ever since I was a little child, the time you eat the sweet foods is after you eat your meal. So after you eat your lunch, then enjoy a cookie. After you eat your dinner, then enjoy cake. If you want a snack in the afternoon, my mom really did give me fruit, some sliced apples. Rarely did she give me ice cream or a cookie. It was usually something healthy. So for me, and just for me, my parents were the key in keeping me healthy. I enjoyed my meals. Now this is a luxury, I think, for many families. Families who are economically safe. They can afford to buy fruit. And let's be honest, fruit and vegetables are sometimes expensive. Did you know in America, you can eat a full meal for $3 at McDonald's? That's right, $3 at McDonald's will give you a full meal, and it's instant. So there's no work involved. Mom or dad can finish work, go to McDonald's, buy a hamburger, a cheeseburger, a Coca-Cola, French fries, and a little chocolate thing to go for the children, bring it home. The kid's so happy. It's delicious. Everybody loves McDonald's. It's easy. And this is what many, many, many children who live in poverty in America, that's what they eat. Lots of children are eating very unhealthy foods, not just at school, but at home. Yeah. It's a big dilemma. So if children are eating delicious McDonald's at home, and then they go to school and they're supposed to eat carrots and potatoes, what do you think's going to happen? The children aren't going to want to eat that stuff. This is a big problem. Should the government be involved? Well, I think the government can make recommendations, but I don't really think they should be involved. Should the parents be involved? Yes. Personally, I think it's the parents' responsibility. But that's just me. Other people obviously have different thoughts. This is a big story in America. American families with children in public school are dealing with this. It is a problem. Kids are not eating the lunches. It tastes terrible. Blech. So they lose their energy, they lose their focus, they lose their concentration. They're wasting food at the schools. They come home, they binge eat. They eat too much junk food after school. Dinner is 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. So when the kid comes home at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, they're hungry. And they're not looking for vegetables. they're looking for snacks. It ends up costing the parents even more money and probably worse for the children's health. It's a dilemma. Something needs to be done. I have none of the answers. But by making laws like this, I don't think that's an answer too. Okay, let's look at those vocabulary words again. To slap. To hit with the fingers and or the palm of an open hand. To slap somebody in the back. You could slap somebody on the back. You could slap somebody in the face. You could slap somebody's hand. Okay, to slap. First lady. This is a proper noun, so capital F, capital L, first lady. That's the wife of the president. And if the president is a woman, first gentleman. Federal laws. Laws that apply to all 50 U.S. states. Funding. F-U-N-D-I-N-G. Funding. Money. Money, money, money. Financial support. To follow. And here we're talking about laws or guidelines. To follow. Adhere to. A-D-H-E-R-E. Adhere to. Strict. S-T-R-I-C-T. Well defined. Clearly stated. Guidelines. G-U-I-D-E-L-I-N-E-S. That's one word. Guidelines. Rules. And finally, as expected. As expected. Just like you might assume. Just like you might think. Just like you might guess. Those are the words. It's a big story. I'm very curious if you have an opinion about this story. What is it like in your country? Is this truly an American problem? Or is this a problem in your country too? Let me know. I'm very curious. Let's listen to the story 2 more times. The first time, nice and smooth. The second time, normal. Are you ready? Here we go. The kids of America want to slap Michelle Obama's hand away from their school lunches. The First Lady supports new federal laws that say if schools want extra funding, they must follow strict food guidelines. No snacks over 200 calories. No Snickers or Tic Tacs. No turkey sandwiches or pizza. No regular sodas. Must take fruit and veggies at lunch. As expected, the kids are not eating. The kids of America want to slap Michelle Obama's hand away from their school lunches. The First Lady supports new federal laws that say if schools want extra funding, they must follow strict food guidelines. No snacks over 200 calories. No Snickers or Tic Tacs. No turkey sandwiches or pizza. No regular sodas. Must take fruit and veggies at lunch. As expected, the kids are not eating. How you doing, everybody? This is Country Shane, and I'm here to bring you the facts. Children from poor families eat more junk food. That's more grease, more sugar, more salt, and more processed foods. Those are the children who are forced to eat the school meals. When a child is used to eating a cheeseburger, he's not gonna want to eat raw cucumber slices. This has been Country Shane bringing you the facts. Yeah, I think Country Shane might be right. The last part was an opinion. I'm just guessing. I agree with Country Shane. If a child is used to eating a cheeseburger from McDonald's, And then you say, would you like some cucumber slices? Cucumber, C-U-C-U-M-B-E-R. It's a type of vegetable. They do taste good, but compared to a cheeseburger, now, the children are going to want to choose the cheeseburger. But the fact that Country Shane gave us is very sad and very important. And this is in America. I don't know if this is true in other countries, but children from poor families eat more junk food. Isn't that crazy? That's more grease, more oils, more fats, deep fried foods, fast foods, French fries, more sugar. Yep. More salt. And more processed foods. Processed foods means foods that are made in a factory. So, for example, if you make bread at home, you take the flour, you add some milk, some salt, some yeast, you mix it up, and you cook it. Now, if you make that bread, how long can you leave the bread? How long can you have the bread? Maybe after 4 or 5 days, the bread is too dry, it's too hard, you can't eat it anymore. If there's moisture, if it's humid, there will be mold on the bread and you have to throw it away. But if you go to the supermarket and buy supermarket bread, that bread will last for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You open it up, it's still soft. It still smells good. Wow, magic bread. No, that's processed bread. Yes, and I don't know, maybe processed bread is fine, but I would think that homemade bread is probably more healthy. And it's not just bread, it's all sorts of things. Hot dogs, everything. Lots of different foods. Processed foods, yeah. The opposite of processed foods would be organic foods. And isn't it crazy, but organic food, at least in America, is much more expensive than processed foods. That's sad. We had an E-cubed lesson a couple days ago. We talked about farm to fork. This is a new trend in America, farm to fork. And the idea, a local farm, usually within 100 miles, they produce all the vegetables, and you can go to the farm and buy the vegetables, or they bring it into the market, and people try to eat only foods that are from local farms. So it goes right from the farm directly to your fork. There's no processing. It's very organic, or close to organic, and very healthy. This is a trend in America, but let's be honest. Do you think the poor people can afford this, or is this for the rich people? Yeah, it's for people with extra money. So it's a real tragedy. People who have lower incomes in America, they're really stuck. The cheap food is the unhealthy food, the junk food. That's easy to buy. But that expensive, or that good food, the organic food, it's more expensive. It's pretty sad. Something needs to be done. I do not have the solution. I can just see the problem, and it worries me. So anyway, Country Shane, thank you very much for the sad fact, and I kind of agree with your opinion. Thanks a lot. Hey, how about that music? Kind of nice, huh? Yes, this is our book club music. Welcome to the book club. This month, we're studying the book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff. This is a great book. It's an audiobook. Of course, the book is in print. You can actually buy a book, but it's also an audiobook, and that's what I'm focusing on. I'm listening to the audiobook, and many of our Let's Master English listeners are also listening. I encourage you to perhaps, if you like audiobooks, if you want to really work on your listening skills, to improve your listening skills, get the audiobooks. Join our audiobook club. You can do it. You can get a free book right now if you go to www.audibletrial.com/LME. Once again, www.audibletrial.com/LME. Of course, LME is Let's Master English. And you go to that site, and that'll take you to Audible. Audible, the Amazon company, and they have over 150,000 audio books. It's amazing. Pretty much everything. So you can click on where it says Get My Free Audiobook if you have not signed up. You just go there, you put your email address, you make an account. If you don't have an account, you just say, I'm a new Amazon customer, and you keep going. And then, once again, this month, we are studying the book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff. It's a great book, and it's written by Richard Carlson. Now, there are several Don't Sweat the Small Stuff books, so be careful. This is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff by Richard Carlson, and the length is 4 hours and 3 minutes. So what we're doing is every week we're listening to an hour. We're practicing, and this week we've listened to the 3rd hour of the book. So this is a great book. It teaches you, or it tells you things that you can do to basically live a happier life. Some of the things are useful. Some of the things are, well, to me, kind of silly or not very practical for me. So let's go ahead and discuss. So this week, in the 3rd hour of the book, there was again about 25 chapters. And I'm going to read the chapter names, and this might give you an idea on some of the subjects. So chapter 52, this was at the 2-hour point, starting exactly at 2 hours. Search for the grain of truth in other opinions. And I like this. I like this chapter. It talks about how, different people have different opinions. They might be political opinions, medical opinions, religious opinions, opinions about food and the government and school lunches. Everybody has, different opinions. And it's very easy to argue with somebody, to disagree with somebody, and then we think they're the enemy. But this chapter says, search for the grain of truth in other opinions. Even though somebody else's opinion might be completely different than yours, somewhere in their opinion, there must be something that is true and that you also believe in. So if you can find that small bit of truth in somebody else's opinion, your relationships are going to be better. You're going to be a nicer person. I like that one. That was chapter 52. Chapter 53, see the glass as already broken, and everything else too. This was a good chapter too. This was based on Buddhist philosophy. Everything is in change. Everything is in flux. It's important. People sometimes forget that the world will end. People will die. Things will change. Nothing stays the same. I think it's an important chapter too. Chapter 54, understand the statement, wherever you go, there you are. I really like this chapter too. Not so much for me. I think for me, I'm pretty comfortable with who I am and where I am. I try not to have many expectations, many desires. I think the more desires you have, the unhappier you will be. And that's what this chapter talks about. You know, if you are a positive person and you go someplace else, you will probably bring your positive personality to that place. If you're a negative person and you go to someplace else, you will probably bring that negative quality to the other place. So, don't think that going someplace else or having something else will make you happy. You have to look at yourself. I think that's important. Very important. 55, breathe before you speak. This is very good, especially if you have children, especially if you're married in a relationship. Listen to this chapter. 56, be grateful when you're feeling good and graceful when you're feeling bad. People are sometimes happy, really happy. People are sometimes depressed, angry. They're sad. You know, happy people are not always happy. So when you're happy, be thankful. And when you're not happy, accept it and try and understand it. Don't try to ignore it. Accept it. It's important. That's what he's talking about in that chapter. Chapter 57, become a less aggressive driver. I love driving, but I don't have a car. Cars are too expensive for me right now. I really want one, though. This chapter didn't apply to me. But if you are a driver, I highly recommend you listen to this chapter. I liked it. Chapter 58, relax. It sounds simple, but we don't relax enough. People just don't. And it's a good chapter. Listen to it. Nothing too deep. Chapter 59, adopt a child through the mail. Sounds like a crazy chapter. Yeah. This is not my style, I don't think. I love helping people. But personally, I don't need to know the person's name. When I want to help somebody, I simply want to know that they are benefiting from my help. And they don't need to know it's me. And I don't need to know exactly who is getting my help. So for me, this was not very important. But the idea is good. And some people will probably love this idea. So I do encourage you to listen carefully to the chapter, Adopt a Child Through the Mail. Interesting title. Chapter 60. Turn your melodrama into a mellow-drama. I like the pun, P-U-N. Melodrama, M-E-L-O-D-R-A-M-A. Melodrama, that's like the daytime television, or in other countries, maybe nighttime television, where everything is a tragedy and, relationships and whatever. Typical TV tragedies. But the next one, melodrama, M-E-L-L-O-W-D-R-A-M-A. That means very relaxed, very quiet. Is your life a melodrama? Dun dun dun! My mother is angry at me. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And then there's my cousin. My cousin got the new job, so everybody's going to be happy about my cousin. Dun dun! Is it a melodrama? Or is your life a melodrama? Mom's angry again. Oh boy, well, she'll be fine. She'll realize it's not important. Oh, my cousin got a job. Good for him. And just relax. What is your life? Oh yes, I do know many people whose life seems to be a melodrama, like on television. But I think if your life were a melodrama, it would be much easier. I like the chapter. It was good. Chapter 61, read articles and books with entirely different points of view from your own and try to learn something. Yes, I need to do that. I tend to read books read the news, listen to podcasts that support my beliefs. But I probably should spend more time listening to people who I disagree with, because maybe in their statements I can find a grain of truth. 62, chapter 62, do one thing at a time. Yes, I am the worst at multitasking. I always say that, but I think it's true. I really need to focus on one thing. It's difficult for me to do several things at one time. Good advice. Chapter 63, count to 10. Very important chapter for many reasons, especially if you're a parent or a spouse. Check it out. 64, practice being in the eye of the storm. No, not for me. I don't know. For me, my personality, I'm an introvert, actually. I like being by myself. I don't need many people around. I don't need lots of noise, lots of activity. I'm very happy being by myself in my home with my cats. I like that. But some people, I guess they feel unsatisfied. Well, this chapter 64, gives you advice on how you can maybe become more satisfied. Check it out. Chapter 65, be flexible with changes in your plans. Yeah, this is important for many of us, including me, learning to be more flexible. 66, think of what you have instead of what you want. Yep. Once again, having too many desires, having too many expectations, having too many hopes, having too many dreams is not necessarily a good thing. You also need to be happy with what you have. I hope all of you are happy. Sometimes we need to think about it. The next chapter, 67, practice ignoring your negative thoughts. It's interesting. For me, I'm pretty positive. A little bit realistic sometimes, but generally very positive. Occasionally negative. But I would say 80% of the time positive, 15% of the time realistic, 5% of the time negative. But what's really interesting is there are people who are the opposite. They're just negative. They worry about things. They're pessimistic. 85% of the time, negative or pessimistic. 15% of the time, realistic. 5% of the time, optimistic or positive. So I'm a positive person. So I really don't have any advice for a negative person. Because, if a positive person tells a negative person, be happy, don't worry, the negative person gets more angry. So I don't know. Is this good advice? Maybe. If you're a negative person, what do you think about this chapter? I would be curious as to your opinion. Chapter 68, be willing to learn from friends and family. So important. The older we get, the more confident we are that we know everything. The more confident we are that we are right. So it doesn't matter if you're 5 years younger, 10 years younger, 15 years younger, 30 years younger. Shut up. You don't know anything. And sometimes when you're my age, I'm 46. And my mom, she's in her 60s. And if my mom says something to me, sometimes I think, oh, Mom, you don't know. Not a good thing. No, it's not a good thing. Be willing to learn from friends and family. Good advice in that chapter. I hope that you check it out. Chapter 69, be happy where you are. This sounds really difficult, but it's not. But the thing is, like we learned in last month's book, you need to create your own culture. Last month we studied Tuesdays with Maury. And one of the most important lessons in that book was, in my opinion, create your own culture. And if you can do that, I really think you can be happy where you are. Chapter 70. Remember that you become what you practice most. Yeah, that's true. You guys are studying English with me. So the more you practice your English pronunciation, your English reading, intonation, listening skills, speaking, pronunciation, whatever, the more you practice, the better you will become. But it also works with personality. So if you say hi to somebody in a friendly way and you practice that every day, people will think of you as a friendly person, and you will also start to become that friendly person. Of course, in your mind, if you say, hi, but inside you're thinking, I hate you, I don't want to talk to you. Well, no, that's not good. Maybe you need to start with something else. But yeah, remember that you become what you practice most. Good chapter. Chapter 71, quiet the mind. Very important, yeah. I love the chapter, but I'll tell you, in my opinion, if you live in the city, this is not easy. Not easy at all. If you live in the country, you are lucky. Quiet the mind. Check this chapter out. I need to do it more. Chapter 72, take up yoga. I would love to start yoga. I would love to learn yoga. There are many classes in my neighborhood, so perhaps I should attend one of those classes and learn yoga. Yeah, yoga sounds pretty cool. Some people think yoga is a religious thing. Is that true? I don't think so. I don't know. Do you have an opinion? I'm curious. Chapter 73, make service an integral part of your life. For me, this is difficult. What does this mean? Make service an integral part of your life. That means serving other people, make that very important. Well, I guess when it comes to teaching English, coaching English, helping people learn English, yes, I do a lot of service. I provide free lessons, these podcasts, many videos. I do a lot. And that's an important part of my life. But it's also my job. I give a lot of free stuff, but I do have to make some money. I got to pay the bills. I have to feed the cats. That's definitely true. But if you listen to the chapter, he's really talking about the local community. Serving the local community. And that's tough for me. Something that hopefully in the future I'll be able to do more. Chapter 74, do a favor and don't ask for or expect one in return. Yeah, this is important. This is important as a human to do something for somebody and that's it. Don't expect them to do something for you. It's a good chapter. Check it out. Chapter 75, think of your problems as potential teachers. I think this is a fantasy. If you have a serious problem that's giving you lots of stress, it's making you sad, it's making you angry, maybe it's costing you money, are you able to say, this problem is terrible for me, but I will learn something? I don't think most people can do that during a problem, during a crisis. But if you could, maybe the problem wouldn't be as bad. I'll try it next time I have a serious problem. And the last chapter was 76, the last chapter for this week, chapter 76, get comfortable not knowing. I love the name of the chapter, get comfortable not knowing. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, then you have to listen to the chapter. Otherwise, you need to get comfortable not knowing. Okay, this was our third week. So we have one more week with this book. And if you have the book, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. We will be listening and studying, talking about the third hour until the end. Once again, this audiobook is 4 hours and 3 minutes long. So just start at hour 3 until the end of the book. We've got about 24 more chapters. So listen to those chapters during the next week. If you have the print book, you can start on chapter 77 and just read all the way through to the end of the book. It's great stuff, and I'll be discussing those chapters again next week in this podcast. Now, we will have a brand new audiobook in 2 weeks. So if you're interested in joining the book club, you can get this audiobook right now or whenever your membership allows you. The next book is The Rosie Project. The Rosie, R-O-S-I-E, Project, P-R-O-J-E-C-T. Now, this book is 7 hours long, which means every week we will have to listen to about 90 minutes, about an hour and a half. So let me tell you how I listen to the audiobooks. Every morning I take a short walk, 30 minutes. And in the evening I take another walk, about 45 minutes. This is before I go to bed, so as soon as I get up, before I go to bed. During lunchtime, these are the times I listen to the audiobook. And I listen to it again and again and again. I need to talk about it in the podcast. So it doesn't take that much time. So even if we have to listen to 90 minutes, that's like 15 minutes a day. That's not too much. And of course, it's difficult. It's an English audiobook. So if you can invest 30 minutes a day, then you can listen to the book twice in a month. That's pretty cool. Some students like to have the print book and the audiobook. Great combination. You can do that too. And once again, you can get a free audiobook if you visit our sponsor, which is www.audibletrial.com/LME. You sign up and they will give you a free audiobook. So the book we're studying right now is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff. But we only have one more week. The next book is The Rosie Project, R-O-S-I-E, Project, P-R-O-J-E-C-T. It's 7 hours long. It should be a funny book. This book was recommended by Bill Gates. So let's check that book out. Now, if you sign up, your first month is free. You get one book for free. At the end of the month, they will charge your credit card $14.95. But that is your membership for the next month, and you can choose another book. Now, the Rosie Project, that book I think is $19.95, but you don't have to pay that much. Because you signed up with my membership, you can get that book for just $14.95. So you actually will be saving money if you actually listen to the audiobooks. Very convenient. I love it. I hope that you are interested and that you join too. After the Rosie Project, the next book will probably be The Alchemist. I'm excited about that book. I've heard lots of great things. So those are the next 2 books that we will be studying, and I hope that you are able to participate in listening and or reading the books. It's time for your questions and my answers. Thank you so much, everybody, for all the questions. I get so many. So this week I picked Andre. Now, Andre has a very good question about negative questions. Can you tell us how to answer negative questions or negative statements. For example, if you say, "Don't you hate her?" Don't you hate her? If you do hate the person, do you say, "Yes, I hate her," or "No, I hate her"? Okay, well, grammatically, you should say, "Yes, I hate her." However, and I've said this before, when it comes to negative questions or negative statements, when you respond, if you just say yes or just say no, it can be confusing for Americans. So I always say, yes, no, it doesn't matter. Use a full sentence. So once again, don't you hate her? Yes, I hate her. That's perfect. But some Americans might even say, no, I hate her. It sounds crazy, but it is possible. Now, that's in a question, so don't you hate her? If you agree, say yes. Even though it's negative, if you agree, say yes. If you disagree, say no. But once again, use a full sentence. Don't you hate her? Yes, I hate her. But the statements, those can get confusing. So we actually studied this statement in E cubed number 570. And the guy says, "You don't sound too excited. You don't sound too excited." And the response was, "No, his place is a rat's nest." Should you say, "No, his place is a rat's nest," or "Yes, his place is a rat's nest"? You don't sound too excited. You agree, so you should say yes. Well, actually, no. In this situation, it's not a question. You don't sound too excited. No, I'm not excited. Yes, I'm not excited. Some people might say that it is possible, but like I said, yes, no, don't worry too much about that. The sentence behind it is more important. You don't sound too excited. No, his place is a rat's nest. No, I'm not excited. That's the perfect answer. And I know it's confusing. So finally, yes, no, not so important. Your sentence behind that is much more important. So Andre, I hope that helps. And Andre is actually a DDM VIP member. So Andre, in our VIP classes, if you can find other examples, practice them with me during the live classes, okay? Thanks. Next question is from Mohammed. Could you explain the difference between have a rest and take a rest? Great question. Have a rest, take a rest, have a break, take a break. They're the same, Mohammed. Absolutely the same. However, have a rest, have a break actually would be a little bit more polite. Something you could say to a stranger or to somebody you don't know, a customer, something like that. Take a rest, take a break. Those are a little bit more colloquial, a little bit more casual. So with your friends, I recommend, let's take a break. Let's take a rest. But in a professional situation, I recommend, let's have a rest. Let's have a break. That would sound much better. But the meaning, they're the same, Mohammed. Our next question comes from Nguyen Huang Lan. I hope my pronunciation was okay. Hello, Mr. Shane. That's okay, Coach Shane, C-O-A-C-H. Can you teach me how to pronounce the word film, F-I-L-M? This is a difficult word for many students. So first of all, let's concentrate on F-I-L-L. Now, the pronunciation is fill, fill, fill. Now, we have to understand there are two ways to pronounce the L. There's the light L and the dark L. The light L, the tongue actually goes between the teeth. L, L. Just like the TH. L, L. The tongue is in the same position. The dark L happens inside the mouth on the alveolar ridge. L, L, D, D. It's actually the same position as the D. But of course, the air and the movement, they're different. So when you say the word fill, it's actually easier to use the light L, the tongue between the teeth. Fill, fill. Now, after you master that pronunciation, do not move the tongue. Just close the lips. So listen. Film. Don't move the tongue. If you move the tongue, this is what happens. Film. Film. That's wrong. Don't move the tongue. Keep the tongue there. Film. Film. That's the perfect sound for F-I-L-M. Now, of course, when we're speaking fast, I watched the film yesterday. It's really, really, really fast. But in order to make that perfect sound, you have to train yourself. So once again, use a light L, fill, close the lips, film, master that sound, and then work on speed. Thanks for the question. And our final question comes from, "You're the best, Che." And, oh boy, it's in Korean, but I do speak Korean, so let me read it here. Pronounce it right. 발음 채널은 1년 동안 업데이트가 안 돼 있네요. 그 채널 아예 관리 안 하시는지, 그게 아니라면 업데이트 좀 해주십시오. Yeah, okay, that was Korean. Now I'll translate it. You have a channel called Pronounce It Right, but for 1 year, you have not updated it. Are you not going to manage that channel? Are you giving that channel up? Or if you are going to keep it, please update the channel. Yeah, you're right, Che. You're the best, Che. You're right. I need to update it. Yes, I do want that channel to be more active. My goal actually was to update 1 word a day. So maybe my goal is too much and that's too stressful. Maybe I should think about 1 word a week. Would that be okay? Yeah, that's a good channel. And you're right. Thank you very much for reminding me about that channel. The channel, everybody, it's www.youtube.com/pronounceitright. And there I teach the pronunciation of difficult words to pronounce. And I give you an example sentence. So thank you for that letter there. You're the best, Che, and I'll get on that. Thank you very much. Thanks for the questions, everybody. Whew, another long podcast. I hope it's okay. The book club is what is making the podcast longer. Is that okay? Do you mind? Please let me know. I'm curious. I don't want to bore you guys too much. And thank you so much for listening. The sponsor for this podcast is DDM, Daily Dictation Members. We have the greatest online class in the world. We have the greatest students. Most of our students are professionals, but we do have some college students. There's even a couple high school students. There are many retired people. Lots of the DDM students live in America, Canada, Australia, the UK. But of course, most of the DDM students live in countries like Brazil and Russia and Poland and Korea and Japan and China, all over the place. We are all over the world. DDM is a fantastic class. Each lesson teaches you pronunciation, listening, and speaking skills. We talk about culture, expressions. It's lots of fun. Every class is different. There are different levels of membership. We have DDM Lite, which is 4 classes a month. DDM Open, which is 8 classes a month. DDM Live, which is also 8 classes a month, plus you get live coaching sessions with me. Find one that you like. I would love it if you joined us in DDM. I promise you will learn so much. Each lesson takes about 30 minutes a day, at least 30 minutes a day. So if you're a really busy person, DDM Lite is probably perfect for you. But if you're serious about mastering English and you have the time to invest, DDM Open is excellent. If you can make the live hangouts with me, they're on the weekends, then DDM Live is perfect. Join. If you want DDM Lite, go here. www.letsmasterenglish.com/DDM Lite. Lite. That's DDM Lite. If you're interested in DDM Open, go here. ddmopen.blogspot, blogspot.com. And if you're interested in DDM Live, go here. dailydictation.blogspot.com. Each of those pages has more information about the classes and how to join. Membership buttons are all there, so you can join if you have a credit card or Western Union. That's also possible. But we've got the students to prove it. People love it, and I want you guys to join. This is the perfect time to join because this week we are starting a new situation comedy, and it's always nice to start at the beginning. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast, and I'll see you next week. Have a fantastic week, and together, let's master English.